This is CBC Here and Now.
From murder to manslaughter, 2 men plead guilty in the death of Stephen Miller.
I'm just not seeing the fish in the rivers like I've seen in previous years.
Disturbingly low salmon numbers have DFO considering drastic measures.
Trampolines, a warning from those who deal with the injuries firsthand.
Your best beaches, where they are and how to get to them.
And if you're hitting the beach, I'll let you know what the forecast is looking like. A little preview, it looks pretty good. The details are coming up.
It was a killing that grabbed headlines this time last year. The body of 25-year-old Stephen Miller was found in a driveway in CBS.
Well, today, 2 of the men charged with his murder have pleaded guilty to manslaughter. Here and Now's Gwen Moore joins us now live from Conception Bay South. Gwen?
Well, Carolyn, it was a shocking discovery. On July 30th of last year, the bloodied body of Stephen Miller was found at the end of this driveway where you can see this truck trying to back in here. Miller had been stabbed. Police say 3 armed masked men forced their way into Miller's home and abducted him. The house was set on fire. Today, 2 of the men charged with Miller's murder, Chesley Lucas and Calvin Kenny, pleaded guilty to the lesser charge of manslaughter. They also pleaded guilty to confining Miller, robbing him, and arson. Lucas had fled the province and was arrested at a restaurant in Halifax. He and Kenny have a sentencing hearing later this month. The Crown and defense have reached a joint agreement on a sentence. Last week, another man who had been charged with the murder, Kyle Morgan, pleaded guilty to accessory after the fact to manslaughter. Morgan has a sentencing hearing slated for next week. A 4th man, Paul Connolly, was also charged with murdering Miller. Connolly was also stabbed and had to be treated in hospital. He has a preliminary hearing next month. Now, because Connolly's case could still go to a jury trial, there is a ban on releasing any of the information that was used to convict the other 3 men. Reporting live from CBS, I'm Gwen Moore for Here and Now.
Recreational salmon anglers are faced with a bleak possibility. They won't be able to take their catch home with them. Low salmon numbers this year has DFO considering a catch and release only system. Scientist Jeff Vino says the situation is particularly bad in northeast Newfoundland. He says it's getting pretty desperate right now on the Exploits River. As of the 9th of July, we only had 2,500 fish pass through the Bishops Falls Fishway. The 5-year average for that facility is 12,700. You've got to go back to basically 1992, 1993 to see numbers that low this late in the year. Vino says during years with heavy pack ice like this one, salmon mortality is higher, but DFO isn't seeing that. So what do salmon fishermen make of this news? Here and Now's Colleen Connors has that part of our story tonight.
The Humber River on a beautiful day. 1 boat. Usually this spot is twisting with fishing lines.
For me personally, it's been an absolute disaster. I think I've made 6 trips to the river. The last one was on Saturday at Lowman. 4 anglers, we fished for 5 hours, and we hooked 1 fish. And that has been the norm and where I've gone. And I'm just not seeing the fish in the rivers like I've seen in previous years.
Whatever is causing the disappearance of salmon, heavy spring pack ice, other fisheries outside of Canadian waters, anglers here are desperate.
But I think there's something else going on in the marine environment. We're not seeing the smolt survival. We're not seeing the adult salmons come back the next 2 years. And I'm afraid that there's a domino effect building here.
Cormier has been fishing for 50 years and worries there will be no salmon left for his grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Cormier has suggested to fisheries management a split tags system, which would mean not fishing during peak spawning times. And he warns against a full ban on salmon fishing, saying it would cause bigger problems.
But if there's no anglers on the river whatsoever, then the rivers are free reign for poachers. And as good as our inland enforcement people are in DFO are, there are not enough bodies to handle the 172 rivers in Newfoundland to protect the fish without having anglers on the river.
Catch and release may be the best option, according to DFO. Fisheries management will decide the future of the salmon season in a week. As for Cormier, he hopes to meet with government officials next week and talk about the future of the season. And tomorrow morning, he plans on getting up and going fishing again. But tomorrow, if he catches a salmon, he says there's a good chance he'll release it. Colleen Connors, CBC News, on the Humber River near Boom Siding.
It was a rare occurrence. A local grocery store in Happy Valley Goose Bay closed its doors to remember one of their own. Gwen Moore spent 17 years working the till at the local North Mart. Last week, she died suddenly in her sleep at the age of 56. Here Now's Jacob Barker has our story.
Here at the checkout aisles in Happy Valley Goose Bay's North Mart, things aren't quite the same.
There's going to be a void, and there's going to be a period of adjustment. You know, she's going to be missed. She's missed now.
Over almost 2 decades, Gwen Morris made quite an impression on a lot of people here.
They say you never ever go away without getting having a good talk with Gwen and a laugh, right?
Customers passing through the store saddened to learn the news.
They've talked about how it's not the same, or they were wanting to come in, but then they didn't because they knew she wasn't here.
The news also hit staff hard. North Mart shut its doors Tuesday afternoon to let staff attend funeral services.
That was a really deep sign of respect, I thought, you know, especially for someone who has been such a presence and such an important part of the North Mart family.
Over 400 people showed up to her funeral, packing the Salvation Army Church to capacity for her son Jason, who hadn't been home in 16 years. It was profound.
I mean, friends come through Alberta all the time. They're just like, we see your mom at North Mart every day. And like, yeah, I just never realized how much she affected all of my friends. I mean, even, you know, just acquaintances and stuff like that. So it's overwhelming. And a big impact in the community. Morris served on several committees. She was an active member of the local Legion and a huge softball fan.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, there was ball games. We were there, and Mom was their #1 fan. And Thursday night, they had a moment of silence over to the ball field for her. So that was a real honor to us.
A committed mother and grandmother, too, willing to do just about anything for anyone.
She had a heart of gold. Gwen would not let anybody pass through her doors, through the counters of North Mart, unless she spoke to them. She went above and beyond for everybody.
Gwenny did not say no. She couldn't say it. She couldn't say no. She jumped to help somebody else, always.
And she may continue to help others. North Mart says it's strongly considering naming one of their scholarships after her. Jacob Barker, CBC News, Happy Valley Goose Bay.
Well, it's the kind of call we all hope to avoid. You answer the phone to horrific news. Well, 3 Newfoundland families were hit with that last week after a fatal explosion in Iqaluit. Here Now's Megan McCabe has the details.
It happened here, between these 2 houses in Iqaluit last Thursday. 3 men from Newfoundland were working on this boat when an explosion left 2 men dead and another in hospital. It's not clear what caused the blast, but the coroner says the deaths were accidental. 50-year-old Noel Priddle of Carbonear died almost immediately. 57-year-old John Manning died in hospital in Ottawa a few days later, and that's where a 26-year-old man is still being treated. Both men are from Burin. Funeral services for Manning will be held in Iqaluit and home in Newfoundland. Back in Carbonear, Priddle's partner, Diane Kennedy, says she was mowing the grass when the call came. She says hearing the news left her screaming and running through the backyard to her sister's house. Kennedy says Priddle, who had a 19-year-old son, always had a smile on his face and was always ready to tell it like it is. Priddle flew back and forth from Iqaluit for work. His body was brought home earlier this week, and this morning in Victoria, he was laid to rest. Megan McCabe, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, the ACE can still be chased. No one took home the jackpot at last night's Chase the Ace at St. Kevin's Parish in Gould's. There are 12 cards left in the deck, including the prized Ace of Spades. This week's jackpot was more than $800,000. Cindy Casey of Mount Pearl had the winning ticket. Although the retired LPN didn't get all the money, her consolation prize of $110,000 isn't too shabby.
I couldn't believe it. I thought I made a mistake, and I had to look at my number, my ticket again. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I still can't believe it. It's crazy.
How many tickets did you buy?
I bought $50 worth at first, and then I came in the hall a second time. It was the second time when I came in. I bought another $10 worth, and that's what won.
Will you come back next week to chase the Ace again?
I'll be back next week. I'll be back with bells on.
Well, since the Ace is still running wild, we asked our math missus, Sarah Smelly, to crunch the new numbers for next Wednesday's draw. She says the odds of winning are now 1 in 1.5 million. The payout prediction for next week is over $1 million, and that's based on an estimated 40% increase in ticket sales.
Well, the Provincial Special Olympics Summer Games are about to get underway in St. John's. More than 300 athletes from across Newfoundland and Labrador will compete in sports like bowling, bocce, swimming, and powerlifting. The opening ceremonies take place tonight at the Techniplex in Pleasantville, starting at 7 o'clock. Well, some more names have been added to the lineup for next month's Atlantic Fest music show in Grand Falls, Windsor. Yes, Canadian rock stars Corey Hart and Serena Ryder will hit the stage on August 26th. They will join headliner Blake Shelton. Opening acts will be announced at a later date. Tickets for Atlantic Fest will go on sale this Saturday at 10 a.m.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot of people looking forward to that for sure. And we are looking forward to more good weather. We've had a great stretch of good weather, Ryan.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Enjoy it while you can.
That's right, yeah.
Well, all this lovely weather prompted our colleague Ariana Kelland to put out a call for the best beaches in the province, and over 200 entries came in. So here are some of the best.
They are fabulous, but I'm not sure if those pooches come with the beaches or not. What do you think?
They like them just as much as the humans do, that's for sure.
Things are always better when you bring your dog,
that's right? Now, if you want to go and check out more of those great beaches and how to get to them, head over to cbc.ca/NL. And after the break, I'm going to tell you about some beach weather, which is in the forecast, looking like a pretty nice weekend. So we'll get to that after the break.
The Coast Guard is heading north. We took a tour of the Henry Larson Icebreaker. That's coming up on Here and Now.
Oh, we have something special to show you.
That's right.
Well, actually, Ryan does.
Great
We
picture.
just got a sneak peek.
So you remember last night, we were talking about those thunderstorms rolling across Bonavista Bay and towards the Bonavista Peninsula. Well, they did make it there. And when they got there, or just before they got there, a cool sight. And this is a roll cloud, and it is typically seen on the leading edge of thunderstorms. And that's what happened last night in Little Catalina.
I have never seen one.
How does it go? How does it get in that shape?
Well, it's funny you should ask, Carolyn Stokes. So this roll cloud, here's another shot of it, and this gives you kind of a better perspective. And it is typically seen on the leading edge of thunderstorms. So what happens is you've got warm air flowing into the thunderstorm above the cloud, and then in the thunderstorm we have, now this is behind the roll cloud, we have the thunderstorm downdraft. And then from that thunderstorm downdraft, you actually have a gust front that comes out ahead. So between the gust front and the warm air inflow, you get that turning of the air horizontally, and you get that roll cloud, which is basically like a big tube of cloud.
Looks like a pipeline.
Absolutely. And now you know. And thanks to Charmaine for sharing that picture so we could bring it to you folks here. So there you go. Roll Clouds 101 here on Here and Now. Now today, in terms of those highs across the province, we looked at another beautiful day. We were a little bit cooler in through Labrador, just 12 and 15 degrees in Lab West, but what a dandy day across the island. Bit of that cloud cover did indeed kick up over the Burin and the Avalon this afternoon. But all in all, it was still a pretty nice day as far as summer days go. In terms of our current temps, just 17 right now in St. John's. Because of that cloud, we've cooled off a little bit, looking at just 15 in Labrador City right now, and still hanging on to the 20s. A pretty pleasant evening out there in Central. Westerly winds sustained near that 20 to 30 kilometer per hour range across eastern Newfoundland. So a bit of a breeze out there. And as we take a look at that beautiful GOES satellite picture with that new satellite from space, you can see where the cloud has been indeed creeping over eastern Newfoundland. Couple of spits, certainly just off to the southern parts of the island, including the Harbour Breton region, perhaps over northern parts of the Burin Peninsula, but overall, most of the shower activity to the south, and that's where it will stay through the overnight. As I mentioned, clouds have been thickening through Labrador today, but overall it's been dry, and across the Avalon and southeastern parts of Newfoundland, you can see the bulk of the shower activity is just to the south. Couple of spits there over the southern parts of the Burin Peninsula as we speak. This, again, bulk of activity stays to the south tonight, not ruling out an isolated shower for the southeast Avalon, but by the time we get to tomorrow morning, smooth sailing. Lots of sunshine to start. Temperatures perhaps just a degree or two cooler than what they should be for this time of year, but it's a very nice start to Friday. A little cool in Lab West as well, just 5 degrees. And as we roll throughout the day tomorrow, watch for some building clouds over coastal Labrador, but it's wall-to-wall sunshine on the island. 22 will be our high in St. John's for tomorrow. Looks like our westerly winds around 20 to 30 kilometers per hour, so less of a breeze than it was today, so pretty nice day indeed. Slap that sunscreen on if you are heading out. UV index of 7. And look at this forecast right across the island tomorrow. Cooler in those onshore westerly winds, but places like Marystown on the west side of the Burin Peninsula should get to 22, 23. St. John's near 22, 23. As I mentioned, 24 in Central I think will be our hot spot tomorrow. Corner Brook proper 23, but if you're right along the west coast, a little bit cooler again in those onshore winds. And 24 in Happy Valley, Goose Bay, 23 in Labrador City. As we look ahead to the weekend, we will be talking about a pretty nice looking Saturday. We will bring in a shower chance for Saturday night in through Sunday morning, and we'll talk more about that with your Sunday details. And of course, a look ahead into next week in that building temperature, those building temperatures, and talking mid-high 20s. We'll talk about that coming up. Debbie?
Thanks, Ryan. Well, as summer blooms in St. John's, Coast Guard gets ready to head north. Tonight, the icebreaker Henry Larson is setting sail for the Arctic. During preparations today, Here Now's Avneet Dillon got a tour of the ship.
The Coast Guard has been busy loading equipment and preparing for their departure later this evening. The ship has important work to do, breaking up ice and making sure fishermen and ferries can move around safely. The Henry Larson is one of 7 icebreakers the Coast Guard sends to the Arctic every summer. The red and white ships are the most visible signs of the government's presence in the north.
We're the snowplows for other ships, So if there's any ice breaking to do in order to keep the commercial traffic going, to resupply the northern communities.
And to help with that job, you need a long-range view.
We use the helicopter for several different things. It's a valuable tool when we're ice breaking for reconnaissance flights, the eye in the sky, to be able to take a look ahead farther than what we can see from the bridge, to pick the easiest way through the ice.
The ship's captain says the mission requires careful preparation so the crew has everything they need.
Once we leave, we're our own self-contained city. We have to have something to deal with everything from the routine tasks to any emergency that would come along.
The ship will also be supporting 2 scientific projects.
The second science mission has been monitoring the flow of water through the Arctic, through the Northwest Passage. There's a lot of interest, as you know, with global warming and ice melting and so on.
Chasing winter in summertime is something the captain has gotten used to. This is his 13th summer in the Arctic.
For people who want to see the North, people are paying tens of thousands of dollars to do that. And we get to do it as part of our day's work. And that's pretty special.
The Henry Larson's next stop is northern Labrador, before heading to Iqaluit. Avneet Dillon, CBC News, St. John's.
To breaking news now, police have charged a man with attempted murder following an incident last evening in Port aux Basques. Around 10 p.m. yesterday, RCMP were called about an injured man on Main Street.
Yes, a 39-year-old suffered what appeared to be stab wounds. He was taken to hospital and later released. As a result, Thomas Kavanagh from Deer Lake has been charged with attempted murder. He appeared in court this afternoon in Stephenville. He'll remain in custody until July 17th when he's set to appear in court.
How safe are trampolines, really? We'll get a doctor's perspective. Welcome back to Here and Now. A GoFundMe page has been set up to raise money for an 8-year-old girl from Purbeck's Cove in White Bay who was injured on a trampoline. She is in the Janeway Hospital with injuries to her neck and spinal cord. The little girl's injuries are yet again raising issues about the safety of trampolines, even when children are supervised. Trampolines have been exploding in popularity. They're popping up in a lot of back gardens and at indoor action facilities. Trampolines are fun, they're great exercise, but they're dangerous. That's the warning from the Canadian Pediatric Association, which has seen a spike in trampoline injuries. Everything from broken bones and muscle damage to permanent paralysis, even death. Dr. Archana Shah is a pediatric emergency doctor and has done research on the subject of trampoline injuries. We met up at the Janeway this afternoon.
Trends across the entire country show that there has been an increase, especially in the past 4 years, so really 2013 onwards. Part of it has to do with the popularity of the trampolines in Olympic sports. That's caused a surgence of it, but also there's a lot more purchasing of trampolines for backyard use, for cottage use, but then we're seeing them more in the parks as well.
Who are the children who are at risk?
Yeah, so there's varying age groups. When we talk to our orthopedic colleagues and those that are part of our orthopedic associations, they actually recommend that age under 6 should not be on trampolines, period. And that's mainly because of their coordination, their balance. They're not as balanced on the trampoline, but also their bones are a bit weaker and their ligaments and their muscles aren't as strong. So that in itself is a risk factor for higher injuries. When kids are on the trampolines, more than one kid on a trampoline, that increases the risk of injuries, whether it be fractures or broken bones, broken necks, sprains, head injuries, and also having lack of supervision. So for those who supervise through a window, that's not really supervising either. You have to be there and you have to be watching them for every single move that they're doing. And also, how are these kids playing on the trampoline? Are they doing stunts on the trampoline? Are they bouncing so high to try and get another child to bounce off of the trampoline? So there's lots of different factors that affect our injury rates on those trampolines.
And how exactly are the injuries happening? Is it because of falling off or bumping together? Just explain that.
2 out of 3 kids who are injured, it happens in the center of the mat. So it's not even having your equipment like the netting and the padding on there, because it happens in the center of the mat. With the netting that you've got as your protective like gate, you'll still see injuries happen as the kids are trying to come in and out of the trampoline, and then they fall over and land on the ground. Or it could be because they're doing stunts and they've landed in the wrong way, or another older child or heavier adult jumps and lands on a lighter, younger child, and then that's how we're seeing the injuries.
There is an 8-year-old girl here who is suffering from a neck injury, spinal cord injury, according to her family's GoFundMe page. But how often do you see injuries of that serious nature here at the Janeway and across the province?
Yeah, and even across the country. So luckily not often, but a serious injury is a serious injury, and it's life-altering as well. And that's what we would, as pediatricians and pediatric emergentologists, we'd like our public to be aware of, is that, you know, the sprains and the small broken bones that we see, they're serious, but it's the bad outcomes, like the kids who have brain damage or head injuries from it, who have broken necks, who won't be able to walk, who will have months of rehabilitation. It is life-altering, and there's so many other safer activities that you can do without putting your child at risk by being on a trampoline.
I think people might be surprised to hear that there are more injuries on trampolines than, for instance, skateboarding, doing, you know, jumping off ramps and bicycling, but that is the case?
Yep, that's the case. When you think about the history of the safety that's gone into advocating for helmets in bikes, advocating for better, safer playgrounds, these changes have been made because of what we've seen in the past. So with the introduction of mandatory bicycle helmets, while everyone is bicycling, we've seen less brain injury and head injuries because of that. So equally so, as a member of the Canadian Pediatric Society, which is our national pediatric society, I'm in support of trying to ban trampolines because of all of these bad outcomes and really serious injuries that we do end up seeing.
Well, I was going to ask you about the fact that trampolines are sold everywhere. There are no regulations, but you're not even asking for regulations. You want an outright ban?
Yeah, and that's what the Canadian Pediatric Society does recommend. The American Academy of Pediatrics also has their statement that says that they should not be used for background, cottage, or park use.
Turning fish byproduct into a product you buy. A Munn researcher wants harvested fish to live up to its full business potential. She'll explain how, coming up. Welcome back to Here and Now. There's so much more to a fish than just the parts you eat. Did you know that 30 to 60% of a harvested fish is typically just tossed away, wasted? But one Munn researcher sees another kind of waste, a wasted business opportunity. Kelly Hobbolt is looking for ways to use every single bit of a harvested fish, guts and all. I spoke with her this afternoon. So this is a bag of frozen fish guts, stuff that's typically just tossed away. But Kelly, you see a lot more value in this bag than just guts. Can you tell us a bit about your group's research?
Right, so what we're trying to do is we're looking at the residues associated with fin fish processing, shellfish processing, both in the aquaculture and the fish processing industry as a whole, so offshore and onshore, and we're trying to extract value from that waste. There's lots of value in that waste, everything from nutraceuticals, these are high-end things that maybe take a little bit more processing and identification, all the way down to things like fuels that you could use as a regional heating oil or something along those lines, and everything in between. So the key for us is characterizing it, figuring out what's in it, and then trying to extract the valuable products from it.
Tell us a bit more about the products that can be created from this.
Right, so it varies on what species you're dealing with. When we talk about finfish, we talk about things like fuels, maybe fish meal or animal feed. So you take the oil out of that, so we take that, we might grind it up to this, then we further do some treatment, and there's the oil on the top. We get the oil out of there, but we're still left with this, which is possibly some kind of poultry or fish meal or some kind of other protein. It's a high protein source. And then there's other things in the fin fish, everything from the skins and the bones. There's lots of value-added products there. If you look at the shellfish, we're working with both mussel shells, shrimp shells, and other crustaceans, and that shell is hugely valuable. It's got all sorts of applications, from absorbents to the student Jennifer Murphy, who's working on it, has actually taken it and made it, crushed it up and made she has a nail varnishing. You know, nail.
So a beauty product.
Yeah, exactly, and it's really sparkly. It's very pretty. And then we're doing things with shrimp, as I said, where we're trying to extract the edible oils from the shrimp, but also shrimp byproduct, but also get these higher end products like astaxanthin. Then we're working with Sukhinder Chima in biochemistry, and she's trying to look at the health benefits associated with that. So
and what is that?
Well, she's looking at it for obesity, but it's an antioxidant. But there's all sorts of health benefits associated with it, possibly things like anti-obesity, cancer. There's a whole list of things. And the higher end thing you're trying to target, usually the more processing steps and the more cost associated with it. But it's worth more. So it's that kind of balance.
Speaking of worth, what is the money-making potential of this?
There is business. It's the being able to identify what will work for a region and what works for the infrastructure of the plant and what works for the actual species and the season and everything else. So it may not be appropriate to get a very high-end nutraceutical if you're in a very remote area. It may make more sense to extract the fuel from there, the oil from there, and use it regionally. But yes, there is money in this. It's just a matter of doing it the most economic way. But again, the focus of all our research between chemistry, engineering, and biochemistry is trying to do it greenly. So we don't want to add toxic solvents. We don't want to use some kind of process that's going to be a safety or environment hazard, and we want to try to minimize our waste.
You know that this plan will make for some very unhappy seagulls.
Yes, yes. There's actually a lineup of seagulls that every day in front of the Bruno Center picketing. That's a huge problem.
The weather update is brought to you by Belltone Hearing Service St. John's, helping the world hear better.
Save the fish for us. Save the fish for us. It's the seagulls out front. And you know, one of the first things I realized when I moved out here was how big the gulls are. They are huge compared to mainland gulls, and it's because they eat so healthy.
I'd love to see that shell nail polish she was talking about. That's interesting.
Definitely.
Yeah,
the possibilities are endless, and I think they're also somewhere talking about making shoes out of fish skin, leather. So, something we can keep an eye on.
Absolutely.
Well, you know, Ryan, I am just loving the warm weather, but there are some creatures who don't necessarily love it, particularly dogs who are left in cars.
That's right, and the RNC has taken to Twitter to warn people about leaving pets inside vehicles on hot days.
Yeah, one day this week, one morning actually, police say they received 3 calls within a few hours from concerned citizens who spotted those animals locked up in their owners' vehicles.
A very good reminder from the RNC. If it's too warm for you, it's too warm for your pet. And it really doesn't take much. You think, oh, 22, 23 degrees, that's not very hot. You get the windows up, the sun beating in, it gets hot in a hurry in the car. And especially as we move into next week, we're going to be talking about temps climbing, especially in central, into the high 20s again.
Wow.
So a good reminder, as we said, from the RNC, and even tomorrow with temperatures in those low to mid 20s, we're going to be wanting to keep an eye on those pets and don't leave them in the car as we take a look at wall-to-wall sunshine on the island. Labrador, as I mentioned, we will see a mainly cloudy day along the coast of Labrador, some building clouds, Happy Valley, Goose Bay down into Cartwright, mainly into the afternoon. Labrador City, a fine looking day at 23 degrees. For the weekend, If you do have weekend plans, Friday evening looks fantastic. Saturday is another nice day on the island. It'll start nice and bright. I think we'll see some building clouds into the afternoon, even more so than what this forecast model is showing. This front will be our main weather maker on Saturday. It'll be rolling into Labrador City for the afternoon. I think Happy Valley Goose Bay stays dry until the late afternoon, talking 4 or 5 p.m. I think is when we bring in the risk for you folks, and certainly Saturday evening is looking a little on the damp side with those shower chances moving in. For the island, 22, 23, 24 degrees, very nice indeed. Ahead of that front, 26 to 27 for Happy Valley Goose Bay and the upper Lake Melville region. Afternoon showers will keep temperatures capped a little bit cooler in Lab West. Now that front will work its way through Labrador Saturday night in through Sunday, kind of stalling out in Happy Valley Goose Bay for Sunday morning and then into the southeast into the afternoon. You'll note Sunday morning we do have some shower chances on the Avalon. Now, I think it is mainly for the Sunday morning time period as we work into the afternoon. Still an isolated risk. Not convinced that we're going to be seeing those showers, but can't rule it out either. I think most of the activity will be just offshore. Either way, Sunday is going to be a cooler day on the Avalon with that building cloud and temperatures just around 18 degrees, 24 degrees in central, 23 along the west coast. Showers into Happy Valley Goose Bay, as I mentioned, and eastern Labrador. We're going to clear out of Lab West through Sunday with some afternoon sunshine. Do you have any holidays next week? Lucky you, because it is really shaping up to be a nice one, especially early week. High pressure and firm control around that high. Again, clockwise rotation, so we're into the southwest flow for Monday and Tuesday. Temperatures really building here. Cold front will slice through the province. Looks like Wednesday into Thursday, and behind that, certainly a cool down. I think the timing of that front is for building clouds on Wednesday and then some shower chances Thursday for the island. Ahead of that, though, again, we're talking 28 to possibly 29 on Tuesday in central, maybe even some 30-degree potential there. Again, a bit cooler in behind the front. And for Labrador, with those shower chances the weekend, then it's a nice warm-up again for Monday into Tuesday. Cold front Wednesday with some cooler temperatures in behind. Stay tuned for updates.
So we'd like to introduce you now to Hannah Blackmore from Harbour Breton.
Hannah is 11 years old and plays defense for the Harbour Breton Hurricanes hockey team. Hannah also enjoys playing softball and volleyball.
Great work, Hannah. You're today's Young Athlete of the Day.
Well, the Prime Minister formally introduced a visibly emotional former astronaut, Julie Payette, as Canada's next Governor-General this afternoon.
Yes, in September, she will succeed David Johnston, who's held the role for 7 years. We'll have more on that story coming up. Welcome back to Here and Now. The woman who is about to become Canada's next Governor General is getting a lot of praise and support. The Prime Minister officially announced that Julie Payette will replace David Johnston when he retires this fall. As the CBC's Katie Simpson reports, while the former astronaut's credentials are not in question, her appointment is creating some tension.
It was hard for the Prime Minister to hide his excitement over his pick to be the next Governor General, Julie Payette.
Ms. Payette's life has been one dedicated to discovery, to dreaming big, and to always staying focused on the things that matter most.
It will be a pleasure to travel, to meet and interact with Canadians of all backgrounds, from coast to coast to coast.
The former astronaut is a francophone from Montreal who speaks 6 languages. An engineer by trade, she is widely respected in her field. Her appointment is also symbolic of 2 key priorities for Justin Trudeau: promoting gender equality and science and technology.
I will be very open to what I think is our core value in this country: tolerance, openness, and working together.
There had been speculation among Liberal MPs Trudeau would select an Indigenous candidate as a step toward reconciliation. While Payette's credentials are not being questioned, some in the opposition are disappointed.
If this was an opportunity for the Prime Minister to demonstrate sincerely that this relationship with Indigenous peoples is the most important one, well, he missed one.
Payette says it's too early to map out her priorities, but expect them to be around science. She has a few months to prepare for her new role as she'll step into the position once David Johnston retires in September. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Ottawa.
And now a follow-up to a story we brought you earlier this week. An American agency is halting rescues of large whales because of the death of a Canadian man. The agency, known as NOAA, wants to take time to review its emergency response protocol. The suspension was prompted by the death of a New Brunswick man, Joe Hollett. He died Monday while freeing a whale entangled in fishing gear. Hollett had rescued more than 24 whales over the last 15 years.
Former U.S. President Jimmy Carter was sent to a Winnipeg hospital to be treated for dehydration. The 92-year-old was helping to build a Habitat for Humanity home when he was taken away from the site for treatment. Carter, along with his wife Rosalind, are in the capital of Manitoba as part of the Canada 150 Building Initiatives.
Just wanted to start by letting you all know President Carter was dehydrated working in the hot sun. President Carter told us he's okay and is being taken off-site for observation. He encourages everyone to stay hydrated and to keep building. Any further updates will come from the Carter Center. He's asked us to continue with our day.
The organization that represents Canadian veterans slammed the federal government today over the payment given to Omar Khadr.
$10.5 million represents the equivalent amount of money that this government would have given to 262 veterans who are disabled.
The Veterans Accountability Commission says that money is 30 times higher than disabled veterans would receive. It also says veterans have their own lawsuits against the government that are taking years to resolve. And even if they win, veterans will only collect a few $1,000s each, not the millions Khadr received.
Now to the U.S., where authorities have charged 412 medical professionals with taking part in more than $1 billion in false prescription opioid claims. The charges involve fraudulent Medicare claims, and 56 of those charged are doctors. Others include pharmacists, nurses, and those who work in the so-called pill mills.
I believe there are a lot more cases that need to be brought. We want to send a message to those who are violating the law that we're coming after you.
The U.S. Justice Department crackdown comes ahead of recommendations expected this fall on dealing with the opioid crisis. Sessions says many addictions start with prescriptions for painkillers. Officials at the Centers for Disease Control say the amount of opioids prescribed in the U.S. in 2015 was enough for every American to be medicated every day for 3 weeks.
Well, the Emmy nominations are out, and there are plenty of shows with Canadian connections in the running, including The Handmaid's Tale and Big Little Lies. There's also a political theme to this year's nominations. Salima Shivji has the details.
The best of the television world is ready to vie for top prize. In the category of Best Drama, The Handmaid's Tale, a television version of the dystopian world laid out in Margaret Atwood's 1985 novel. The show inspired the look for real-life protesters demonstrating against anti-abortion bills. It also inspired signs of resistance.
The big message that I think that the show has is about this idea of creeping normalization, that you can have these massive, frankly horrifying changes occur very slowly, and people don't really sit up and take notice until it's too late.
The feeling of being a part of something that struck such a chord is special for the lone Canadian in the cast.
I've been on other shows that people have really liked, but they wanted to talk about the wardrobe, or they wanted to talk about something less sort of meaty. It's lovely to meet a stranger on the street and then just immediately dive into a conversation about politics or religion or women's rights.
Other Canadians in the Emmy race this year, director Jean-Marc Vallée, honored for his work on Big Little Lies. The murder mystery got 16 nominations, not just Best Limited Series, but Best Directing, Cinematography, Editing, and a nomination for nearly every actor in the show. Samantha Bee is also up for an Emmy for her weekly talk show Full Frontal, which features biting takedowns of politicians.
She's become kind of the unofficial opposition. Comics have become the unofficial opposition to the government of Donald Trump.
I'm going to do
One of them, Alec Baldwin. He's been nominated for this Saturday Night Live impersonation that sparked plenty of talk. And the awards ceremony in September likely won't avoid political commentary. With Stephen Colbert chosen to host, it doesn't really look as if it wants to. Salima Shivji, CBC News, Toronto.
When the heat in South Korea got unbearable, a couple of zoo residents got some chill time. 2 giant pandas were given a special treat to deal with the heat.
Yes, and staff placed fresh fruit on ice, and a female panda got a birthday cake made out of bamboo for her 4th birthday.
With temperatures around 31 degrees, it looks like the cool treats really hit the spot. And of course, hitting the spot will be Ryan when he comes back with what looks like a great forecast. Stay with us. Welcome back once again. NASA has released the closest images ever taken of Jupiter's Great Red Spot. You are looking at one of the first close-up images by the Juno spacecraft, captured during an unprecedented look at the powerful storm. Here's where it gets truly spectacular. NASA is encouraging people to process their own versions of the photos, saturating color, zooming in, and creating art out of the images. They can then be uploaded to an online gallery on NASA's website.
Science and art combined.
Pretty cool. Wow.
Nice. Well, the nominees have been announced for this year's Canadian Country Music Association Awards. You're watching newcomer Megan Patrick, and the title track from her debut album, Grace and Grit. The Belleville, Ontario native is nominated in 3 categories, including Album of the Year, Female Artist of the Year, and Rising Star. The awards will be handed out in Saskatoon on September 10th.
Awesome stuff. All right, the next 3 also looking pretty awesome. We do have some showers again rolling through Labrador through the weekend. Newfoundland, it's a Burin and Avalon risk for the Saturday night in through Sunday morning time period mainly. I think we're kind of cloudy into the afternoon, but wouldn't rule out a sun break too, and temps just a little bit cooler. But yeah, can't complain about that Friday and Saturday. Now, last night we showed you a fantastic whale picture, and we were responded with this one, which is maybe even better. Is it a whale? Is it a croc? Or is it some kind of prehistoric creature?
Oh my goodness, it really is another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the mouth, of course, on the left side, and you can see even the little where you would think the eye would be. Just a great picture. Paul Dunphy from St. Anthony, where this berg is currently sitting, and great shot there.
I'd say it's a whale. What about Jonah? We open him up. That's a great shot.
Yeah. It is.
He was inspired. Paul was inspired by last night's shot, I bet. So. Thanks very much, everybody, for sending in those pictures to your
Facebook account. Honestly, I cannot keep up with all the great pictures, so keep them coming and check them out for yourself if you want to.
Have a great night, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Good night, everyone.